Hey, hi, it's Jim. How you doing? It's Tuesday. It is me. It is time for a short video. It's me chatting and rambling on about Steven Wilson and The Future Bites. His new record, say new, it's been out a few weeks now, but certainly his newest record. To say it's split opinion is something of an understatement. A lot of people are not appreciating what he has done. I think the fan base has been sort of fairly split down the middle. So there's a lot of people who sort of gone off. He thinks he's absolutely lost the plot. He's gone completely off the tracks with this. And there are other people who say that it's the greatest thing he's ever done. And still more people say you can't possibly sort of critique him, criticize him. He's a musical genius. How dare you have any word of criticism against his music? So, what do I think about it? Who cares? Probably nobody. But I've got some thoughts. So I might as well commit them to camera to posterity. I have been something of a fan of Steven Wilson, I guess. For a few years, I was a fan of Porcupine Tree a long time ago, probably 10 or 12 years ago, even longer than that. In Absentia and Deadwing, that era, those two records, I was all over them, and I absolutely loved it. And I knew Steven Wilson was at the front of the band, but I didn't actually sort of appreciate that it was kind of all Steven Wilson with some bandmates around him. So when I then came to realise through the channel and through the recommendations and conversations with people in the comments about Steven Wilson and his solo work, obviously it piqued my interest, and I sort of dived into that rabbit hole. And lo and behold, I've discovered some of the most amazing music I've ever heard in my life. As a result of that, Hand Cannot Erase, I think, is in my top 5 records of all time. And it's just a work of genius. It really is. I mean, I can't rate it high enough. I mean, there are some records that I've listened to in the last few years as a result of the channel that have come into my sort of inner orbit of the inner orbit of great records. Hand Cannot Erase is one of them. The Future Bites, I didn't think I was going to like it. So this was initially slated to be released a year ago, something like that. And I think obviously because of the pandemic, it got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, a little bit like the James Bond film. And I think that he may have caused a problem for himself by doing so, because the level of expectation and people who are desperate to hear it just obviously was amplified over time. So when eventually it was released a few weeks ago, the level of examination of it, or the critique of it, was so much higher than it would have been had he just released it as he'd originally intended to a year ago. It is a departure. It's quite different from the last, I don't know how many records. There are elements, obviously, to the bone which have similar sounding bits to this. Pariah. What's the other one? Oh, I've got the record here. Yeah, Permeating. That's the song. Which is could have fitted on this record quite well from the sound of it. So I heard Personal Shopper, obviously, along with everybody else, when that was pre-released months and months and months ago, and then slowly drip feeding all the other songs sort of as we're going along. So Eminent Sleaze and so on and so forth. And I think Eminent Sleaze I listened to, but then I didn't listen to anymore because I just wanted to wait for the record. Now, it's not a rock record, that's for sure. There's limited guitar on here. There's limited live drumming. There's limited live anything apart from singing. When I first heard Personal Shopper, for the first 2 or 3 minutes, I sort of was into it, and then by the time it sort of dragged on, and it really did feel like that when I first listened to it. By the time it dragged on for sort of 6-7 minutes, I was thinking, "Oh, come on, really? Is this nearly not over yet?" So I was not, I can say, overly keen to listen to the record. I was thinking, I don't think it's going to be. Well, I'm going to be a bit disappointed with this, which I think is where everybody else is coming from. I haven't bought it yet, which is unusual for me because I try to buy and own music rather than just sort of streaming it and what have you. So I didn't think that I'm not going to sort of jump out and buy this thing. So I haven't sort of put my money up for it. I'm going to, though. I'm going to buy this. I've been listening to it now for several days, and I've listened to it sort of from start to finish over and over and over on several occasions. And the more I'm listening to it, the more I can't get it out of my head. It is just the melodies and the songwriting is so strong. I mean, it is absolutely just a phenomenally good record. I don't care whether it's not rock. I don't care that it's not so-called progressive in the way that we are expected to think that music is meant to be. There's no flutes or sort of extended guitar solos or time signature changes. That doesn't necessarily make something progressive. That just makes something different, sometimes for the sake of it. Is this progressive? It's progressive for him. He's progressed. And it's not... People are saying it's pop music. What is pop music? And it's certainly not pop music like you hear in the charts. I don't know. It's good. That's all I can say about it. This is a really, really, really good, strong album, and it's short as well. I think there's obviously an extended version somewhere along the lines, but this one is, how long is it? It's 42 minutes for a Stephen Wilson album. Blimey, hey? Blimey. So, track listing, got 9 tracks on there. Unself, which is basically just a short introduction into the album, which feeds into Self. Which again is very short. It's under 3 minutes. King Ghost. So some songs here. King Ghost, 12 Things I Forgot. Self, we've mentioned. Eminent Sleaze, I'm going to leave for the second. Man of the People. Those Self, King Ghost, 12 Things I Forgot, and Man of the People are absolutely genius. They are so hooky. And I mean that the hooks on them and the songwriting and the general just sort of, oh my God, I can't get this tune out of my head. It's brilliant. It really is. If you go into this expecting it to be sort of 12-15 minute extended guitar solo-y type stuff like you've heard from him before in other records, you're going to be surprised and you're probably going to be disappointed, like I think I was. But if you think, okay, no, forget it. I'm going to try and not think about what I'm expecting and try and listen to this just for the sake of listening to this as a record, you may come round to it. I've come to really, really like this a lot. I think the concept running all the way through it about consumerism, about, I don't know, like the Amazon era of sort of algorithms sort of telling us what we should and shouldn't be buying, and sort of manipulating it is all sort of on the money, especially during sort of lockdown when we're all sort of just everyone's spending money just trying to sort of fill their time, which is a bit of a thing, isn't it? I think he's sort of obviously taking the piss out of himself a little bit with the limited edition box sets, and then obviously the completely obsolete media version, which was sold off for 10 grand. But it's shiny, it's sharp, it's polished, it's good, it's poppy, but it's not happy. It's not happy pop. It's not radio, maybe radio friendly, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's not what. If I think about pop music, my general, I completely sort of are wrong about it. My thoughts of pop music is it's what you listen to as a teenager before you learn to understand what real music is, and that's an awful thing to say, because that's really, there is some amazingly good pop music. I hate the term pop. I hate all these terms, pop, prog, whatever it is. There's so many different things in here. I would say there is pop in here, but it's mostly stuff like there's some trip hoppy moments. There's synth wave. There's bits like sort of sound like New Order. There's stuff that sounds like sort of potentially Joy Division. The production is astonishingly good as well. It's chunky and heavy and compressed. It really sort of thumps. It really does. And I don't think people should be. No, I can't tell people what they should or shouldn't be, but don't be disappointed that this is who he is, because he has still written and created and will still perform when he's playing live this huge repertoire, back catalogue of incredible music that he's been creating for the last 30 odd years. It's all still there. It's all still in our record collections. It's all still there to hear when it's being gigged. So that's all there. That's still there. That is part of his back catalogue. And this now forms another slice of it. Will this be where he goes in the future? I know he's said maybe sort of fairly provocatively in interviews that he doesn't believe that he has any inspiration from the guitar anymore. You know what? That'll change. He'll come back to it. Maybe his next album will be sort of written on xylophone or on tuba. Who knows? Or using sort of string quartets or choral groups. But I think as long as he's making music, it's going to be interesting. And this is an interesting record. It's great. I like it. I like it a lot. It's different. But you know what? I like Depeche Mode. So I like New Order. I like a lot of this other stuff. I like this. Anyway, I'll probably get a lot of dislikes on this video because I've come down on the side of, you know what, on reflection, this is a good record. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video whenever and whatever that is. Until then, this is Jim, over and out.